Hi everyone, this is Sandy Reese with Stampitcrew.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Thanks so much for joining me for another video tutorial today. This week I am focusing on some of our new Sale-a-bration items. They are free with a $50 order and they coincide with the start of our, avalanche of our new 2023 January through April mini catalog. This started on the 5th and it goes through the end of April. A lot of pages. We have 90 pages of all kinds of stamp sets, papers, embellishments. We got new tools, new punches, so many great things. Love this catalog. So our Sale-a-bration catalog goes through the end of next month. We have lots of items here. It's only 2 months long, so I'm not sure that I have time to spend a whole week focusing on each stamp set. So I'm going to run through all the stamps and papers and goodies, and then we'll see what we have time for. But there's lots of stuff in the new mini catalog that I want to showcase too. So we'll just, we'll kind of see how the month plays out. All right, so today we are going to do a stamp set. We're going to use the In the Country stamp set. There's only 2 stamps in here, but they're gorgeously detailed and they don't have sentiment. So I'm going to use one of our other Sale-a-bration events called Sale-a-bration items called Sending Support. And this has some really great sentiments in here. There's some sympathy, encouragement, some good luck, lots of different things to use. So we can always use sympathy cards or encouragement cards right now. So that's what we're going to do today. All right, so I'm going to start out with just a half sheet of Berry Vanilla. This is the thick Berry Vanilla. I like to use the thick vanilla and white for a base, the card bases. Then I have a piece of crumb cake, and all my measurements will be on the blog with the link below. So I'm using the Time Worn Type embossing folder. So we're going to put, this is going to be a landscape card. So I'm going to put this about halfway down and run this through the die cut and emboss machine. And then it comes out like this. So if you can see, I don't know if you can see the texture. Yeah, right about there. It comes about halfway down. All right. Now on this, I left the smooth side, the smooth bottom side, because that's where I want to stamp my sentiment. And I'm going to use Sending Love, Loving Thoughts and Prayers. And we're just going to use Memento ink for this. I'm going to practice it once. I like to practice everything at least once. Make sure everything looks good. I'm just going to put it down in the bottom right. And I did rock that a little bit. I was feeling like it wasn't going to come out, but that's okay. And then Here for You Always is for my inside. I stamp it once, make sure I got it straight. Here for You Always. Okay, I'm gonna set that aside. And that actually, I feel like I could stamp that a little bit better. Let's try it one more time. We're just gonna flip it over because it's embossed, so let's try a little depossed piece. Much better, all right. Sometimes it takes a little steadier hand when I need that ink. Okay. So I'm going to take this, we're going to put a little piece of this natural finish ribbon. Isn't that beautiful? We're just going to tape that right around the back. I'm just using a little Scotch tape because it's quick and easy. We'll make sure we get that straight. Tape that down and we'll adhere this to the card front. See, it didn't look good. And it's okay if I'm using the debossed piece for the front because it's really just to add a little texture. The Time Worn Type, you can barely even read it. So just adding a little bit of that texture there is what I'm looking for. Okay, I am going to close that for a minute because we are going to die cut a label out of this. And I am using, let me find it here, the Fabulous Frames dies. And I just got this recently, and I think I've only used maybe this piece, maybe the oval. I haven't used a bunch of it yet because I just got it, so I'm very excited about using it. So I'm going to cut a piece with my machine here. Okay, let's bring this in. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm using my really old and well-loved magnetic plate, which I know we don't carry anymore, but I'm holding on to for dear life, waiting for us to get our magnetic plate going again. It may not be pretty, but it does the job. Okay, so now we have, well, let's see. Let's get this out of here so we can see what we have. It cuts out this nice stitched, or not, it's not stitched, this is nice rectangle, which I don't need. I'm going to save that for later. And it's cutting out my frame. Okay, so I've got this pretty frame, and then I've cut some vanilla. Now this goes right behind my frame. I will put the measurements on my blog, but I've cut it so it fits behind the frame, but it overlaps just a little bit, just like this, so that you don't see it from the front, okay? There's a reason for that. Okay, so now we're gonna stamp on here. This is where all the magic's gonna happen, right here on this little piece of vanilla. So you can have lots of magic on just a small piece of cardstock. Okay, so I am choosing to use kind of this field and fence and lane background. I'm going to put it closer to the bottom, and it's going to come off the sides just a little bit, but I want to leave a little sky there. Okay, perfect. All right, now we are going to do a sepia toned image. So sepia tone, if you're not familiar with that term, is more in the browns, like, you know, kind of an old-fashioned type of a photograph. So I'm going to start off, I'm just using one blend. You could use, I'm using the dark soft suede. You could use the light soft suede. You know what, let's grab our light. Since they come in a pair, we'll use both of them. And what I'm going to do, let's get the other end. Hello. Okay. I'm going to use the light, and I am going to just kind of color my lane. This is the dirt road that's kind of in between the grass. That's one side, and here's the other side of the lane. A little road kind of going off into the distance. Okay. Now I'm going to use my, well, maybe I'll use some of the light here. The light in the foreground. I'm going to color my fence post. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to use my dark, and I am just going to color these trees. Now they don't have to be perfect, or they don't have to be completely filled in. I'm just doing a little bit of coloring back here. Just in the background. My hand's not very steady today. Either had too much coffee or not enough coffee. Okay, just adding a little color to the background. All right, I think that's good. All right, all the coloring we're gonna do. Now, we are going to grab crumb cake ink, and we're going to grab a blending brush. This is my crumb cake blending brush. All right, So what I want to do is add just a little bit of color to the sky. And that's really all I want to do there. Then I'm going to add a little extra color to the ground. So this is kind of a little more, kind of build up that ground color. You can even do a little bit darker at the top, closer to that tree line. A little more on the sky. Isn't that pretty? That's all it is, just a nice little sepia tone. Now, if you want to go in and highlight some things with white, you can, but I just like it as is. You could even, if you have a sand eraser, this is called a mono sand eraser. If you want to take it in and just do a little bit of highlighting, and that just kind of erases a light bit of color, you can do that, but I'm not even going to mess with that. All right, now for assembly, this is right on the edge, and I didn't want it flush in the frame. I want it to look behind the frame. So what I'm going to do is just place it right here so that it's not peeking past the edge. And we're going to grab some dimensionals and just attach it together with dimensionals. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 minis. And then let's just grab a couple of bigger ones, regular size, right here. That gives us a little more stability on holding it together. We don't need it for putting on the card, but to hold it together. And that way we don't have to worry about glue oozing out or making a mess or anything. This will hold it right behind the frame perfectly. All right, now you can center it on the ribbon if you want. I'm actually going to move it up just a little bit so it doesn't interfere with our words or take away from that. All right, and then if we want, we can bling it up with a couple of champagne rhinestone jewels. Love these things. Okay, I'm just going to do maybe a big one and a small one. I cut these up for classes. That's why I always have just like remnants of things. I try to use them all. Maybe we'll do one more. All right, come here. One more down there. And that's it. Isn't that pretty? It's not very straight. I'm not very good at straightness. Let's pull it up and just scooch it down a hair over on this side. Okay. There we go. Nope, still not straight. Maybe it's just me. I don't know. I think it's not me. I think it's not straight, which is me too. All right, I think that's it. Isn't that pretty? I just love doing this sepia tone look. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Make sure to check back next week. I've got or not next week, later on this week. That's still not straight. I don't know what's wrong. I think maybe I'm just sitting, maybe I'm not sitting straight. Okay. All right, now I'm satisfied. Okay. Check back with me on Thursday. We have a fun project to do on Thursday. And I will see you all soon. All right. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.